I forgot to do one yesterday because I had to work until 9:30. Day jobs in Japan are fun. Whatever, lightning round. Both of these cards are bad. 3 of a Kind automatically loses out to Shaak Ti in any setting where you want to banish crystals to draw cards. Shaak Ti draws 3 for the exact same cost, but gives a 15/15 body for 1 extra Darkness Will. Light already has a decent amount of draw power in it too, and 3 of a Kind really brings nothing to the table. Mage Jack is supposed to be the cutesy opposite of Shadow X, but somewhere they forgot to make him an actual threat. The stats are fine, quick cast is cool, but life gain is a horrible mechanic, since it rarely disrupts your opponent's plays and is more for just stalling out. His crystal generation ability doesn't really matter that much either, since one pair gives up to 4 of both crystal types in the best case scenario. And while I can at least see Shadow X's kitchen table viability, Mage Jack doesn't even have that. Okay, on to yesterday's cards. King of Kings and Save the Queen fall into the same opposite sides of the same effect gimmick that Shadow and Jack do. King boosts all other fairy tales you control by 4/4, and Queen reduces the stats of all J resonators your opponent controls by 4/4. They also both have effects that let you discard them and banish a crystal of their matching color. King boosts a J resonator by 4/4 until the end of the turn, and Queen reduces something by 4/4 until the end of the turn. Then they both draw you a card. Personally, I think both of these are too slow. I'd much rather just sit on my crystals for when I play Swordmaster than using them on either of these effects. It's also weird that they don't have an inheritance, despite having the exact description of what that ability is, because it could have opened another avenue of support for them. Instead, they're very half-assed two sides of one coin BS, where none of the cards directly synergize with each other than that they have generic flip-flopping abilities. King or Queen could potentially be one-ups with how much searching exists in the game, but if you're at a point where a race-locked 4/4 boost is going to win you the game, then you were probably already going to win in the first place. Looking at these things, here are some easy steps to fix card soldiers and make them interesting. Instead of giving them janky support spells that reference poker hands, give those abilities to the resonators instead. Slap a once per turn clause on them and you're golden. Either give all of them race card soldier or some way to interact with inheritance, just something that easily puts them into a bubble that's kind of unique to them. Putting them in the most overrepresented race in the game without a secondary race ensures they are absolutely useless compared to other fairy tales because there's no reliable way to print support for them that doesn't immediately benefit the stronger fairy tales more. If their gimmick is about having cards with similar names or particular suit matches, give them a way to easily cycle through the deck for their specific cards with something like an addition. We've never had an archetype that specifically plays with literal card combinations that are in the player's hands, and instead of that what we got were a bunch of subpar spells with asinine awakening gimmicks that are outdone by other cards in the exact same set.